Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dives. We're picking up right where we left off in Dante's Purgatorio.
That's right. Last time we found ourselves in the Valley of the Princes. Quite a place.
Yeah, full of these rulers, these souls who maybe focused a bit too much on their earthly power, and now they're seeing how that maybe held them back spiritually.
Exactly. But what's interesting, and what we want to explore today in Canto 8, is that even there's this palpable sense of, well, divine protection still being present.
That really caught my attention. It feels like a key thread for this canto, doesn't it? How protection works even in these reflective spaces.
Absolutely. And the goal today really is to look at Canto 8 and see what universal lessons we can maybe pull out for our own lives. I mean, we all have our own travels, our own journeys, right?
Facing challenges, moments of vulnerability. So what can Dante teach us here? And believe it or not, this is our 40-second deep dive together.
42nd. Time flies. Okay, so Canto 8, it kicks off at a very specific time, dusk.
Right, sunset. And it's not just scenery, is it? There's a heavy symbolic weight to it.
Oh, definitely. Dusk, that time between day and night. It often represents transition, uncertainty. And here I think it signals a moment of heightened spiritual vulnerability.
Like when your guard might be down a little, temptations feel stronger.
Precisely. It reminds me actually of the very beginning of the Inferno. Remember the dark forest?
Yeah, that feeling of being lost, vulnerable at a crossroads. It seems Dante uses these in-between times quite deliberately to signal spiritual danger.
He really does. And it prompts a question for you, listening. When are those times for you? When do you feel most, well, susceptible to distractions or maybe negative influences?
It's a powerful question. And in this atmosphere, this dusky vulnerability, the souls there, they do something specific, don't they?
They do. They sing a hymn to lucis ante. It's a traditional evening prayer, basically asking for God's protection through the night.
A kind of ritual for safety as darkness falls.
Exactly. Both literal darkness and maybe, spiritual darkness too.
Yeah.
And almost immediately after they sing, something quite dramatic happens.
Ah, the angels. Two of them descending.
Right. And they've got these flaming swords. It's a very vivid image. They're there to guard the valley.
Guard it from what?
From a serpent, which appears later in the canto.
A serpent. Okay, that symbolism feels pretty clear, like Garden of Eden clear.
Absolutely. It represents temptation, the original fall, that ongoing struggle against, well, forces that pull us away from the good. Even here in Purgatory, that battle isn't entirely over.
So it's about constant vigilance, even when you're on the path to purification. But the angels being there suggests help is available too.
Exactly that. Help is there, but it connects to that idea of doing our part, which leads to another thought for you. What are your rituals of protection?
You mean like the soul singing the hymn, what do we do?
Yeah, what practices, what boundaries, maybe what routines do you have in place to face those vulnerable moments, emotionally, spiritually, ethically?
That's a really practical way to frame it. Okay, so within this protected yet still slightly tense valley, Dante meets some people he knows. First up is Nino Visconti.
Yes, Nino, a judge and apparently friend of Dante's in life. He's quite surprised, understandably, to see Dante there, still alive.
And his first thought is for his daughter, Giovanna. He asks Dante to remind her to pray for him.
Right, and that request is quite poignant, isn't it? It really highlights this ongoing connection, the idea that memory and prayer can bridge the gap between the living and the dead, offering real support.
Nino seems to believe her prayers can genuinely help him.
He does. But then there's a contrast drawn with Nino's widow.
Ah, right. He mentioned she's remarried. There's a hint of sadness there.
A definite sadness, yeah. He contrasts his daughter's loyal memory with his widow, who seems, well, to have moved on perhaps too quickly, focusing on earthly status again. It sets up this distinction between transient earthly attachment.
Like maybe her new marriage focused on status?
Potentially. Versus bonds rooted in something deeper, more spiritual, like Giovanna's love and remembrance for her father.
It really makes you pause and think about legacy, doesn't it? Not just money or status, but the kind of connections, the memories we leave behind, what truly lasts.
What kinds of bonds are you building? That's the underlying question. Then, Dante meets another figure, Conrad Malaspina.
And this feels different, more positive. Dante seems genuinely grateful here.
He is. He recalls the hospitality, the generosity he received from Conrad's family when he was in exile. And the canto really seems to praise these chivalric values, liberality, hospitality. It suggests they have a kind of redemptive quality.
Like good deeds done on earth still matter here.
They absolutely seem to. And then Conrad gives Dante this prophecy.
Ah, yes, the prediction that Dante himself will experience the Malaspina generosity soon. Within 7 years, I think.
That's the one. And the fascinating thing, from our perspective, is that Dante wrote this after it had already happened. He actually stayed with the Malaspinas in 1306.
Oh, so there's a prophecy after the fact. Clever.
Very clever. It's a literary device, of course, but it also subtly reinforces the theme. Our actions, our values, like generosity, they echo. They have real effects in the world.
Things come around. And finally, the canto circles back to the threat.
The serpent makes its appearance.
But it doesn't last long.
No, not at all. It sort of slithers in, representing that ever-present possibility of temptation, but the angels are right there, vigilant, and they drive it away immediately.
So vigilance is key, but also trust that protection is there when needed.
That seems to be the message. Constant awareness, but not despair.
Okay, so wrapping up our thoughts on Canto 8, what are the big takeaways for, our own journeys?
Well, I think first, recognizing our own dusk moments, our vulnerabilities, and the need for those rituals of protection, whatever they might be for us.
Being prepared.
Yes. Then the enduring power of memory and genuine connection, contrasted with more fleeting, earthly attachments. Thinking about what kind of legacy really matters.
And the value of kindness, generosity.
Absolutely. How our actions ripple outwards. And just that underlying need for constant vigilance, but with the assurance that, well, divine help is available against temptation.
It's a lot to chew on. So the final thought for you, listening, might be to reflect on those rituals of protection in your own life. Are they serving you well? Are they helping you prepare for your dusk moments?
A really vital question. Thank you all for joining us for this deep dive into Canto 8.
We really appreciate you spending this time with us. We'll be back next time to unpack even more from Dante's journey. Until then, take care.